Welcome to Tommy Solo's Famous Friends. This is where I get to chat with people that I've connected with over the years in the world of arts and entertainment, and today we're doing our follow-up interview with world-renowned arts and entertainment photographer, Mr. John Rowlands. Welcome back to the show, John.
Hey, Tom. It's really good to be here.
No kidding. So you've gone through some stuff in the last little while. I know that you ended up suffering another stroke shortly after you moved into your new dig. So what can you tell us about that whole experience so far, John?
Well, it's been excruciatingly hard. I had 2 strokes in June, and after 8 years of not having a stroke, this one came back and really walloped me, the second one I had. I just moved into my apartment and had the stroke and went to UH for a month and then 2 months at Parkwood. So the only good thing about it was I got to lie in bed for 3 months when we had one of the hottest summers we've ever had in London. So I made it through that okay. Parkwood, I've got to say, is just an incredible place, scientific. And got to know the doctors there and certainly the nurses who took great care of me and encouraged all the exercise I could get, taught me many things about the back and several muscles that we're unaware of most of the time, and really, really helped me rehab. When I went into Parkwood, I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk. And I found my own balance and can walk. And once again, I took vocal lessons, and they get right down to the larynx and exercises to develop the tonality and then shape the words. And although that's not 100%, a lot of inflection in my voice isn't there anymore, but I'm working on it, and I have certain humming sounds that I make, and my voice is getting longer and better at pronunciation. So hopefully by the time this COVID thing is over, I'll be able to go back doing rock and roll memories again and go to the people that had already booked the show and canceled because of COVID.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've had a lot of really great support from the medical community, and I can tell you that there are a lot of people in the arts community and beyond who've been pulling for you, so it's really good to know that you're back on track, John. And,
thank them all, yes.
Yeah, and you're sounding good. So I know that when we spoke last time, before you had this trouble, you had recently had to cancel a tour that was lined up with Burton Cummings. Was that Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman?
Well, it was going to be. I was working with Bert, and it was going to be a surprise that Randy would walk on every night. So just for the element of surprise, but
and showmanship,
that never came around.
Yeah.
And we had also started selling limited edition prints of Bert that I'd taken in 1976 on the lot of Paramount Studios. And Greg Campbell now has got them on his website for sale because Bert said he'd sign 100 of them. And I hope we can get back to that again, of course, because while I was in the hospital, I had to pay my rent.
Right, yeah. I know that somebody has set up a fund. Is it a GoFundMe account they've set up for you?
I don't know what it is structure-wise, but it's my good friend Sandra that's doing it from the U.S., and several people have donated, of which I'm most thankful because, quite frankly, over the years, I've just run out of money.
Right, so I think that what people who care about you should do is to look you up on Facebook, and I know that you've been tagged with that crowdfunding effort, so I would recommend that anybody who cares about John Rowlands and wants to help you out, look you up on Facebook and see where you're tagged with that crowdfunding effort. So I know a lot of people care about you, John. We're pulling for you. And now you've had a long and illustrious career over the years in taking photographs of all the various artists.
60 years at it now.
Yeah, and I know you've shot everybody from the Beatles to David Bowie, you're most famous for that Archer shot, and you've shot Elvis and countless other of the big names in the entertainment world over the years. And now I guess we're just really hoping that you can get back into business and start selling some of the prints.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm building a book and going to print it myself. And I've got a CD reader because most laptops don't come with CD readers anymore. And I'm going to look at the whole collection. One thing now that I've got with all my negs being here in the apartment is many, many colored negs that were not part of my job because the record industry had black and white trade paper, so black and white was where it was at. It's my personal preference anyway, but...
So you're digging out old treasures now? Is that what's happening?
I've got colored negs of tours that I shot for myself that I've never even seen before. So they've been filed away, and I'm going through them and scanning the pertinent stuff for stuff like, like Bette Midler. Right. I did a tour with Bette, and I've got a million pictures of her in fashion, and anxious to see this number she did where all of the girl backup singers with her were in wheelchairs dressed as mermaids. And they were electric wheelchairs, so they had a choreography number all worked out on stage and pulled that off, and I got the shots. And nice. Then another thing, too, many, many people ask for pictures, and I have the pictures. There's no doubt I can remember that I've got them, but to find them now is a tedious job, and I hope to come up with a filing system that somebody asks me for a Cat Stevens pictures, and I know where all my Cat Stevens is, and things like that, so that they'll have their memories while they're still fresh as memories,
Right. Well, it sounds like you're working on keeping your brain active, and I can't wait to see some of this new stuff that, it's like you've happened upon a treasure trove, and I'm sure that a lot of us are going to be really excited to see some of these things that we haven't seen before from you.
Especially me.
Oh, boy. Sometimes the best surprises are when you surprise yourself, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, that sounds like...
And then we've got Nick's books to do and all kinds of stuff that I have on Nick. And, the many, many years we spent together in Toronto with several of the record companies you worked for and a lot of his personal ventures and certainly Kiss.
Right. Well, we should clarify that you're talking about Nick Panasico Sr., the promo man.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So Nick, for anybody who doesn't know, was a record label promo man, and he was responsible, among other things, for, you mentioned Kiss, bringing Kiss into London and helping them get off to a running start. And I know he brought the Supremes to London, and he was instrumental in promoting a lot of our favorite memories on record. So, yeah, it's nice to know that you and Nick are, after all these years, you're still, I would probably assume that you guys are like best buddies.
Well, it's so nice, and I've known him for 45 years, and we've never had a disagreement or an angry moment. I'm so happy for that.
That's rare.
And now, Nick has got Parkinson's and is living by the lake, Lake Huron up in Ipperwash, and taking it real easy. So there's lots of things that we'd like to do with his book, and I'm quite willing to give him all this stuff because he was a big part of my life. I was a big part of his life, and he owns those shots as much as me.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like friends helping friends. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I've been to see Nick a few times over the last little while. A lot of people don't know about Tommy Solo that I'm also Major Tom's Recycling and Junk Removal, and we're shut down due to COVID right now, but several times I've had occasion where I've had a truckload of wood and I brought it down to Nick on the lake so that they could heat the cottage and stay warm. And I know that when I see Nick, he always has something good to say about you, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. So
and a beer or two.
yeah, well, and that's one way of getting me to stick around for a while. Yeah, you have a
Yeah,
beer and
yeah.
then you have to wait for another hour before you can get back in your truck. Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. Well, it is what it is, and I'm just glad that the two of you are hanging in there and
Yeah.
supportive of each other. So I know that you're in the middle of going through the archives and digging out unearthed things, and we're all looking forward to seeing that. Have you been in communication with anybody as far as getting back to it once the world turns back on, John? Or
Well, I'll do things, but not for record companies and stuff because I'm really retired. And what I think is I'll eventually be able to afford one of these big, huge expenses in iPhone 13 or 12 or whatever. 3-lens camera that is professional quality on several notes and shoot black and white or color or telephotos and all kinds of stuff again with my cell phone. I look forward to those days, but it's all casual now. I'm 73 years old, and I enjoy my sleep. And once again, Nick has been very nice to me, and he sends down an edible cake.
oh,
And I have a small piece before I go to bed every night and sleep like a baby.
yeah. Well, I can tell you that CBD is definitely a good sleep aid. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Well, it's
sir.
interesting when you talk about using a cell phone for photography, and they are getting really, really good. Recently,
Yeah.
I was interviewed by 519 magazine. And
Right.
so the interview went well, and then the guy that did the interview said, "Are you coming to Windsor anytime soon?" I said, "Well, no," but I said my wife is pretty good with the camera, and she is. I know you've probably seen some of her nature photography online and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we recently bought her fairly high, a couple of $1,000 worth of a new digital SLR camera.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so we set up in the backyard to take some decent promo shots of me. And, we ended up getting better shots on her cell phone.
Right.
So it's crazy what technology has come to these days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, John, I know that it's a bit of a stress on you to talk for long periods right now. And all I really wanted to do today was to let the world know that you're on your way down the road to recovery.
Yeah.
And we want to inform people of that crowdfunding source. And
Another nice thing last night, Sandra, my friend in California, has managed to get through to a gal who does a radio program a few times a year in Indianapolis. And on February the 11th, Brenda Lee is going to be on. So
oh, very nice.
they've got my phone number and some of my pictures to look at, and I may be on that radio show with her.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Which is, a dream come true, because although we've talked before and I've worked with her before, she was one I started with in 1960, and in one night she changed my life. And, to live through it without being in touch with the girl that made it all possible has been very difficult, but it will be nice if this does happen. I sent down a picture of Colonel Sanders and her, so I would imagine she could remember that one. So,
Well, it'd be nice even if you have a chance to chat, even online or something. So it's good that you've got that connection happening.
She knows Sharon King, who's Ed King's wife, and Ed was a member of
Leonard Skinner.
He co-wrote Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, he was a member of Leonard Skinner, yes.
Yeah, they get their hair done together.
Okay. Very nice. Well, John,
Yeah.
I won't keep you all day. As I said, I just wanted to make sure that you're all right. I want to make sure that the world knows that you're all right and on the road to recovery. And we are all pulling for you. And once again, I'm going to remind people to look you up, John Rowlands, on Facebook, and to see if they can't contribute to your crowdfunding source. And John, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing okay and you're in good spirits.
Well, thanks, Tom, and thanks to all your friends that read your blog. And this is great. So I'm happy to have another chance at it all, because I almost went down this time, and I'm very happy to be talking to you on the phone.
Well, I'm very happy to be talking to you as always, John. I will let you go, and until next time, my friend, thanks a lot for being here, and cheers.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
John Rowlands has often been referred to as the photographer to the stars, and during his time working for the major record labels, he was known to have shot everybody from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones to David Bowie to Leonard Cohen and Peter Townsend. Since his retirement, he has often donated prints worth thousands of dollars to various charities and benefits, including the one that I have hosted for years, Rockin' for Kids. While John was able to supplement his meager retirement income with his Rock and Roll Memories tours, of course, that has stopped due to COVID. And now it's time for us to give back. John has fallen on hard financial times after suffering a couple of strokes in recent years, and his good friend, Sandra Mendez Rosenbaum, has started a Facebook fundraiser in John's name. So I would encourage everybody to look that up on Facebook. Look for Sandra Mendez Rosenbaum and the fundraiser that she started for John Rowlands, and please be kind. Tommy Solo's Famous Friends is a one-man production, meaning that I've done all the work, including producing, editing, guest acquisition, etc. All rights reserved. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The theme song for Tommy Solo's Famous Friends was written and recorded by Tommy Solo with a little help from my friends in the night crew. And hey, if you like the show, why not subscribe? Until next time, cheers.